it's just one of those things that people have their windows open. There's picket fences around the house, these beautiful old tree-lined streets, and the smell of Grandma's coffee cake is wafting through the air.
It is, truly.
Well, that's basically what's happening here with the My Grandma's 28-ounce coffee cake in a choice of flavors. And we are back in stock after this sold out the last day it was presented, which was in May. We're offering it for $29. These are big cakes. They're going to serve probably 12 to 14 people. And Marie Louise is here with us to talk all things My Grandma. So starting off, right here at the top, we have the chocolate chip coconut. Now imagine that. Chocolate chip coconut in a delicious coffee cake. I mean, stop. 500 available, and that's it. We have the blueberry, and this is blueberry and cinnamon and all the good flavors. There's about 800 of those. And then last but certainly not least, the cinnamon walnut, which is the classic. We have about 900 of those. M96499 is the item number. Marie Louise, let's start with what is My Grandma, or who is My Grandma's?
Well, we're going to Boston. Baked fresh in Boston. We love My Grandma's. They start with a 150-year-old plus real grandmother's recipe. I think we're gonna go take a little visit here. But we love it. We're not a big bakery and we're not a small bakery. We're somewhere in the middle, but enough that we have bakers who still do a lot of handwork, made in small batches. Everything is poured out, everything is weighed. All of the fillings on the inside, that signature streusel, the cinnamon sugar, the walnuts, the chocolate chips, the coconut, all get put in by hand. Everything gets topped by hand. They get weighed, a slow bake for an hour in the oven. They get put into a custom freezer bag. They are baked fresh in our bakery and shipped to you fresh in a box. And you have a full year to decide if you're going to eat it or not. When you get it home, you pop it open. There's a care card in there. Eat it or freeze it, cut it in slices and put it back into the freezer, and it's always good to go.
Love it. Well, let's go through all three.
Right,
we'll start with blueberry.
All right, down here in blueberry.
Already popular, by the way, in the show.
So look at the tops to our cake. Isn't that beautiful? These come out of the box and they are ready to go on a cake plate, lovely. But look at this. Look at all of those plump, juicy New England blueberries in there. Just a little touch of maple syrup and, of course, the signature streusel. All the way through the middle, our cakes are always moist and dense and really heavy because we use a pure cultured sour cream, Madagascar bourbon vanilla in that traditional recipe, and this one loaded with blueberries.
Love it. And probably my new favorite. I mean, how do you put chocolate chips and coconut in a coffee cake and not love it?
Wow.
I mean, so good.
If you love the candy bar that's chocolate and coconut to come together, no nuts in this one because sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. But coconut two ways in here. And look, on the top,
right here,
fully loaded with chocolate chips and coconut that gets toasted in the oven. So you get a whole different flavor from the inside because you can see
and different
the
texture.
Chocolate chips and coconut in the middle. Look at, you can see that snow white, chewy, fresh coconut in the middle and chocolate chips. That is our chocolate chip coconut.
So good. The texture on that is so good, and yet it still has.
Love it.
It's still true to the My Grandma's coffee cake, so it's that moist cake, and then you get the additional.
Which one did you try?
I'm sending the blueberry.
No, I just cut her a slice of
slice of that, but I've already had the blueberry.
Did you love it?
Let me tell you, there was a controversy in my house about the blueberry. Let me tell you what happened. I took the blueberry to a friend of mine's house. I said, I'm going to share the goodness. My husband said, no, don't take the blueberry. He was so upset with me for taking the blueberry. So I said, I have to get him another blueberry. It's his absolute favorite. So I'm going to send one to my aunt who just had a surgery. She's recovering from a surgery, so I wanted to send her something warm and comforting.
She will love it.
I'm going to send her a blueberry cake. They're fantastic.
You can't go wrong with any of them, honestly.
Any of them.
So if you've got someone on your list like Monifa that loves the blueberry, go for it. If you want to try something new in the coffee cake genre, then try that chocolate chip coconut. And then if you want your classic, here it is, and that's the cinnamon
and this
walnut.
is where it all began. This is where people were lining up in the streets of Boston to get this original recipe. This is our cinnamon walnut. On the top and the inside, fresh California Mariani walnuts. We love those. Generously topped off with that cinnamon sugar. When it's baked, those two come together for a nice little crunch. And then all the way down the center, you see our signature streusel. Lots of nuts in there as well. You break this open.
Wow.
Always so nice and soft and fresh and fully loaded.
That's
Yummy.
the sign that tells you you're going to get that delicious flavor all the way through. I mean, the cake is not overly sweet. It's perfect for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, dessert. I love that you can do fun things like
I love
create a
this.
trifle.
Yeah.
We love it for the French toast. We talk about that all the
French
time.
toast is perfect in there.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of an egg batter. I use a little bit of heavy cream or half and half on a griddle with some melted butter. And look at that. You pop that off. You can use any kinds of
my
fruits in here,
goodness.
Jane. I love any one of these with maybe some bananas that are getting a little bit too
Oh,
ripe.
yeah.
You put those in the pan with it and you make bananas or fresh berries or peaches are in season right now. And as Jane mentioned earlier, our cakes about 15 slices.
Right.
So if you're going to have somebody over or you're somebody who's in charge of dessert and you just want a simple ending, or the book club is getting together with coffee and you just want a little bit of cake, look at how many people.
And if you're not
that will
sure
serve.
what is serving, I feel like you're safe with this. Like you can always put a little coffee cake out and somebody's going to enjoy it.
Always.
And it's perfect with coffee or tea or the glass of red wine after dinner, whatever it may be. Go ahead and pick your favorite. That is the chocolate coconut, the classic blueberry, or ask about that cinnamon walnut, which is the one that started it all. There is no auto delivery available with this offer, so the only way to get more is to get more. So
Yeah.
go ahead and stock up and know, again, when these come to you and you get that box, what's inside is a fresh, delicious cake, and these are going to come to you ambient. So when you receive
Fresh.
them, don't expect there to be dry ice. They're going to be ambient and fresh. You can go right into the refrigerator or right into the freezer if you want, if you're not going to use it right away.
Yeah, and we were nominated again for the Customer Food Choice
Yay!
Awards. Fingers crossed. I think it's
Yay!
coming up on
On the
September
18th.
We've won it before. We surely deserve to win it. But on the top of this one, when we bring these blueberries out, where but New England to have these fresh blueberries? Look at the size of the blueberries in there. So you get a burst of blueberries. This has just a hint of maple syrup in it as well. So look at this. You will find the first time you pull that cake off the bottom, off the cardboard piece, it is dense and heavy and sticky. It gets all over your fingers.
We love the consistency that we know we're going to get with my grandma's. Just like you were driving up to your grandma's to, spend a little Sunday supper with her.
Oh, miss my grandma.
This is the absolute delicious flavors of New England. So chocolate chip coconut, 350 remaining. Blueberry, there's 600, and in the original walnut, 700 remaining. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here.
Always a pleasure. Now, we've been talking about Rachel Bosing, who throughout the show invited herself and all of our friends